Good afternoon again, grade 5. I'm recording this right after I did the last one, so for you it's probably going to seem like a day, but for me, a couple minutes. So anyways, I hope the last one went well and that you guys are enjoying these. I know that I'm kind of having fun making these videos, so even though they're thinking of changing how these Bible lessons work. I hope that I can continue to interact with you by talking into this camera and seeing if you guys like it. I see that some of the videos have been looked at on YouTube, so sadly it's the one that I am least proud of. So uh, anyways, that one's at least getting some views, so yeah, that's great. Anyways, the way we go forward now is we're going to look at another video, and this one I think should be shorter. I'm just going to read the text to you. So it's Luke 19:11 to 28. So if you're looking yesterday, this comes right after the last text about Zacchaeus. And yeah, so this one is called the parable of the 10 minas, or the parable of the pounds, depending on who is writing the title. Anyways, here we go. I'll read it to you and then we can work from there. Now, as they heard these things, he spoke another parable because he was near Jerusalem and because they thought the kingdom of God would appear immediately. Therefore, he said, a certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. So he called 10 of his servants, delivered to them 10 minas, and said to them, do business till I come. But his citizens hated him, and they sent a delegation after him, saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. And so it was that when he returned, having received the kingdom, he then commanded these servants to whom he had given the money to be called to him, that he might know how much every man had gained by trading. Then came the first, saying, Master, your mina has earned 10 minas. And he said to him, well done, good servant. Because you were faithful in very little, because you were faithful in very little, have authority over 10, you will have authority over 10 cities. And the second came, saying, Master, your mina has earned 5 minas. Likewise he said to him, you also be over 5 cities. Then another came, saying, Master, here is your mina, which I have kept put away in a handkerchief. For I feared you, because you are an austere man. You collect what you did not deposit, you reap what you did not sow. And he said to him, out of your own mouth I will judge you, you wicked servant. You knew that I was an austere man, collecting what I did not deposit and reaping what I did not sow. Why then did you not put my money in the bank, that on my coming I might have collected it with interest? And he said to those who stood by, take the mina from him, and give it to him who has 10 minas. But they said to him, Master, he has 10 minas. For I say to you, that everyone who has will be given, to everyone who has will be given, and from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away from him. But bring here those enemies of mine who did not want me to reign over them, and slay them before me. When he had said this, he went ahead, going up to Jerusalem. So we're going to look at this. We're going to see what's going on here. So why is he telling this story? So it says that because he's near Jerusalem and because they thought that the kingdom of God would appear immediately. So we see that the kingdom of God would appear immediately. So he's telling them this because he's getting close to Jerusalem, and this crowd that's following him, they think that the kingdom of God will appear immediately. And so he's trying to put their minds in the right place, right? He's trying to prepare them for what will come, because as we know that he dies when he goes in this next, he's going to die soon and go away, and people are going to not understand completely because of their concept of what's going to happen. And so he tells this parable to explain what is going to happen and how we should view this. So a big thing to think about here is that we need to, though Jesus has left his king, he rules in his kingdom now, and that what he's teaching his he's teaching his disciples and the crowd is that even though he goes away, you have to work for the kingdom. The kingdom mission is there. And the Great Commission is like the main mission of the church and of, well, there's other missions as well, but the main mission is to spread this gospel. And we'll see here that the minas, the money that he gives, is really representative of the gospel. A certain nobleman went into a far country to receive for himself a kingdom and to return. So Jesus, we know that he dies and he goes to heaven and then he returns, right? When he's seated at the right hand of the Father, and he will return. So he called 10 of his servants and delivered to them 10 minas and said to them, do business till I come. So even though Jesus has gone to a far kingdom and is not on earth anymore, he's still commanding us to do business till he comes. But his citizens hated him and sent a delegation after him saying, we will not have this man reign over us. And so it was that when he returned, having received the kingdom, so some evil citizens, some citizens hated him. We see that we've seen this in the gospel like again and again, right? That some people have a hardened heart against him and they hate him. They don't, even though he's a kind and loving ruler, these people continue to hate him and to strive against him. They even send a delegation, right, to say we don't want him and to deny him. So we see he's preparing the people for the fact that people are going to oppose him. His followers, that people are going to oppose him. And so when he comes back, having received the kingdom, so we know that right now Jesus is seated on the throne and he's in control of all things and he has the kingdom. So we know that this is, so he is going to, well, in this, when he was saying this, he was going to receive the kingdom, but now he's received the kingdom. And then he comes back and then he commands his servants to come, like the ones he gave money to come to him to see how much every man had gained by trading. And so this isn't a story about money. This is a story about what we do with the gifts God has given us. And especially what we do with the biggest gift that God gave us, the gospel and our regeneration. So that we have to go out and, tell other people. That's really the important thing, that we don't hoard this to ourselves and keep it to ourselves, but we try and share it with other people. That's what our master is calling us to. And so the first came and said, Master, your mina has earned 10 minas. So this is a really important thing, right? This servant recognizes that it wasn't his stuff that earned the mina. It wasn't him that earned the mina. He says, your mina has earned 10 minas. So he's saying that what you have given me has earned 10 minas. So it's not me. Don't look at me. You. Look at you. And then he says, well done, good servant. Because you were faithful in very little, you'll have authority over 10 cities. So we see that it'll be proportional. Our reward with what we do with God's benefits will be proportional to what we do. So this is quite important for us to recognize that. No, I don't know why that's going off. That we'll be rewarded for what we do and in proportion to what we do. And so, but it's not, we have to remember that it's not because we are great or anything, like, right? It's God is rewarding what he has given to us in a sense, right? He is so generous that he gives us, takes us from a beggar, rags. He gives us this amazing gift of the gospel. And then further, what we do with the amazing gift, he's like, oh, here, have more, my faithful servant. So that's just incredible, right? And then we see the second one, same thing. You'll be over 5 cities. And he says, your mina, not me. Don't look at me. I'm nothing. Just your mina. And then here's the other one. You see another came saying, here is your mina. So he says your mina, but he doesn't. Now you'll see what he says a lot. I, and then he blames. So he says, I have kept it put away in a handkerchief because I feared you. Not in a reverent fear like we're asked to fear the Lord. But this is a fear like, I'm worried what he'll do to me. Basically, he doesn't trust in the Lord as well. And he actually, in a sense, he kind of accuses the Lord of being like, the reason why he's fearful. So he has almost like an Adam moment, like a woman you gave me. But yeah, here he says you're an austere man, and he says you collect what you did not deposit, and you reap what you didn't sow. And then so the nobleman or Jesus will say, like, out of your own mouth I will judge you, you wicked servant. Right? He's like the nerve of this man, right? And so you see that if we don't if we're given this amazing gift, we hoard it away. We don't share it with other people. You know, we don't use that, and that can happen in many other ways, right? We don't need to necessarily be all evangelists, right? God tells us that we're many different parts of the body. We work of the body. So even if the Lord gives you this gospel and you just devote your life to the church, anyways, or every member of the church has to be devoted to the church and to see the furtherance of the church. So that's mostly what it means. And so how the Lord will measure our commitment is in the Lord's hands. We just trust and do our best, right, every day to serve the Lord. We will be richly rewarded. If we choose not to, if we choose to get this reward and then let it gather dust, the Lord is not going to reward us. We will be a wicked servant. And so you see, he takes that mina. So the one mina the man had, everyone else keeps their minas, like the gift. But the one mina this man has is taken away. And people kind of complain, but he tells them that, to those who it is given, and right, this is the idea, right, that it's all given to us. To those who it's given, will be given even more, right? We see that. But those who didn't do anything, or what wasn't given, doesn't have anything to show, it'll be taken away. And but then we see there's a difference here, a stark difference. Like, then there's the enemies, right? These are the enemies, and the enemies of him, of Jesus, we see here in verse 27, will be treated without mercy. That this God, if you stand against the king who willingly offers you mercy, tremendous mercy. He offers you peace. He offers you love and comfort, a kingdom in heaven, a place with him forever. If you reject that, if you are against him and you strive against him, you will not be shown any mercy. At that point, you have stomped on the mercy. You've taken the olive branch, ripped it, and you are going to be destroyed, right? He says, slay them, right? They will not stand before the Lord. The Lord, and we know this is righteous and just, right? The Lord has, said that I'm coming back. He's warned everyone, and they still are hard-hearted against him, still striving against him, still trying to fight him. And so, yeah, we just know that, the Lord will not have mercy on those people. So that's, in a way, that can be comforting for us, because, once you guys grow up and you meet other people who do actually strive against the Lord, right? One thing that this can do for us is that we know that it's on my hands to, to necessarily fight with these people. I can continue to love this person, right? And try my best to get through to them and to warn them. But if they continue to fight against it, like, the Lord will deal with them. If there's someone persecuting you, it's not the way we can have mercy on people and continue to show our light is that we know that it's not in our hands to have the judgment. The Lord will have the judgment, and when the Lord makes his judgment, there will be no one who will clamor against him. His judgment will be profound and forthwith. So anyway, sorry I quieted down there a bit, but yeah, we just trust in the Lord. I hope you enjoyed this video. I also have another worksheet for you today. Again, the idea with the Bible lessons now is I'd like you to talk about these things with your parents. Just take this stuff that you've learned about this passage and ask them maybe, how can I serve the church? How can I, serve God's mission for me? And think about that yourself, right? Like, you are one of our covenant children. You're a member of our church, and you're a member of our family, right? And we want everyone to pitch in together to help the gospel and help the kingdom. And so, it lies with you and your family to talk about this, to work a little bit on the worksheet. Do not stress about the worksheet. I'm sending it there just for yeah, for extra work and for you to, put this down on paper, some of the things you learned. So in the worksheet, it kind of just goes over, yeah, some different things, and you just have to kind of talk about what it represents. If you're struggling with it, mostly focus on just talking with your parents about it. Okay, so it's another, hey, 15-minute video. We're doing good. Anyways, class, it was a pleasure to do another video for you. I'm enjoying these quite a bit, but yeah, we'll continue to do this as long as we can. And if you're enjoying it, I just ask that you leave a like. We have many more ideas that I'm coming up with to, I want to make sure the class stays together. So I'm thinking of an idea where maybe we could send anonymous letters to other members in the class just to bring encouragement to them in this time where we're all kind of cooped up. That I think it'd be nice to get some encouragement from our classmates. Anyways, I'll see what I can do on that front. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye now.